People just don't come in and are great. You have to coach them to be great. Sure, they're going to have some characteristics that stick out. They are. But you have to develop them. You have to take those characteristics and you have to maximize them. And the only way you do that is through... Hey, welcome to the Insurance Buzz. I am your host, Michael Weaver, and I'm flying solo today, baby. I am going to be talking about my 3 biggest takeaways from the Farmers Mega Conference event I was just at. It was an incredible event. There were 75 agency owners in there. The average book size in that room was $13 million in premium, with the largest being $55 million in premium. And I want to share my 3 biggest takeaways from this event, from this conference, because I believe that these 3 takeaways can help you take your business to the next level in 2025. So the very first takeaway, and these are in no specific order, all right? These are in no specific order, but the very first takeaway I want to share with you is scaling compliantly. Scaling compliantly. This came from an agent that they produce anywhere between $1 million and $1.25 million in premium every single month. And so he's got a system of checks and balances in place. And so let me just kind of review what he shared with us, because I believe this is something that it doesn't matter if you're writing $100,000 in premium a month or $1 million in premium a month. You need to implement this in your business today, because as the old saying goes, the checker gets what the checker checks. And this is an easy way to make sure that your producers are doing the right thing for the customer every single time, compliantly, making sure that, hey, it's a win for the customer, it's a win for the producer, and it's a win for the agency. We've got some CYAs in place, baby, right? All right, so what this is, scaling compliantly. This means when your producer is getting ready to submit business, they've got all the information, they've collected payment information, it's ready to close. They're going to fill out a form. They fill out a form that goes through a system of 10 to 15 questions, asking them questions like, hey, what liability limits did the customer have? What liability limits did you write, and why did you write them? So you're going to go through a system of 10 to 15 questions that you think are most important in your sales conversation, your process, making sure that the producer is doing things the way that you want them to do it according to your process, and most importantly, they are doing things compliantly in the right way. And so when they fill out this form, then they're going to hit submit, or they're going to go lay it on the sales manager's desk, depending on if you have it electronically or old school paper to pen to paper fill out. All right, they submit it. And then what happens is the manager, the sales manager in the agency, is going to go through this checklist. They're going to go through the application, and they're going to then give the producer permission to submit that production. And so, number one, this is going to cause your producer to slow down. Slowing down is not a bad thing. Slowing down means that they're doing the application correct the first time, that they have the system of checks and balances in place to where they know that, hey, when I submit this, it's going to get checked. I have to fill out a form, and it's going to get checked by the sales manager. The sales manager is then going to go into the application. They're going to look to make sure that what was completed on the form and the application lines up, and then they get permission to actually submit the production. Again, this is coming from an agency owner that submits $1 million to $1.25 million in premium every single month. And I love this idea, because this is going to ensure that you, the agency owner, the business owner, those of you that are putting your livelihood on the line, making sure that you have a system of checks and balances in place that act as a CYA to make sure that if anything is ever done non-compliantly, you have a system in place saying, hey, we have a system to make sure that things aren't done non-compliantly, and they're going to get fired. All right. But more than likely, with this way of systems, all right, this checks and balances process, scaling compliantly, you're not going to run into non-compliant issues, because they're filling out the form and they're getting a check by the sales manager to ensure that things are done appropriately and the application is filled out correctly before it ever gets submitted. This is also going to make sure that there's no hangups in the process on the back end. We've all been there, where we have high producers in an agency and they're producing. But then what happens? You have service work on the back end because something got missed. A question got missed. A form didn't get submitted. You with me now? This is going to ensure that everything gets submitted the right way every single time for the right purposes. So it's a win-win, again, for the customer, for the producer, and for the agency. So making sure that you are scaling compliantly and just doing things the right way. All right, that's why I love this takeaway. I wanted to share it with you. I believe, again, it doesn't matter where you're at in your agency career. This needs to be implemented in your agency today to make sure that everything is being done the right way, compliantly, so that you never have to worry about anything in your agency career and business. Takeaway number 2. Gotta get a little drink out of my... You guys like this mug? Woo! Insurance bug my mug, baby. All right, so takeaway number 2. This has to do with recruiting. And I love this takeaway. 2 equals 1 and 1 equals none. Always hire more than you need. And what he shared with us here is if you're hiring 2 people, one of them probably isn't going to work out. So 2 is going to equal 1. And if you hire 1, well, they're probably not going to be around in 60, 90, 120 days, right? So you're always going to hire more than anticipated. And he actually went on to share that he typically will hire in groups of 3 to 5 people at a minimum. And so I wanted to share this with you because not only should you always be recruiting, you should always be keeping that recruiting funnel full. But one thing that happened more than I'd like to say early on in my career is I would hire when I needed somebody. I would recruit when I lost somebody. And so we would have a pain in the agency to where we'd be short-staffed for a little bit. And then I would hire one person because, man, this is going to be the next rock star. This is going to be the next game changer in my business. What would happen? 3 months, 4 months, 5 months later, they wouldn't work out. And so I wish I would have heard this early on in my career, and why I'm sharing it with you because I believe the same thing. You always want to hire more than anticipated. You want to hire, when you need 1 producer, you want to hire 2 at a minimum because 1 is probably not going to work out. And what's the worst case scenario here? You get lucky and you hire 2 rock stars, you hire 2 A players, you hire 2 game changers for your business. I can guarantee you if you hire 2 people and they both work out, you're going to figure out the money situation because of their production. All right, so that's the worst case scenario. The worst case scenario is you overhire and all of your hires are fantastic people and they're either going to crush it and you're going to make plenty of money or you're going to get rid of somebody else on the team that's not crushing it anymore, right? So always hire more than anticipated. Always be growing. 2 equals 1, 1 equals none. The last tip, or not the last tip, the last takeaway, takeaway number 3. This one hit near and dear to my heart. And every single person that stepped on stage over the 2 days talked about this. And they all virtually said the same thing. You get out of your team what you invest in your team. You get out of your team what you invest in your team. I believe this 100%. I am a believer in the fact that the only way to grow a great business is through great people, and the only way to get great people is to develop great people. You have to develop your team. You have to grow your team. You have to train your team. You have to coach your team. That is what all the best agency owners in the country do. You hear rock stars come on all the time on the Insurance Buzz. And there is a common theme amongst every single person we have on the Buzz and every single rock star at the conference I was just at and every single rock star agent that I talk to in general. They are always investing in their team. It is one of their top investments they make, if not most, the biggest investment they make every single year in their business is in their team. You are a leader of people. You have to develop your team. You have to grow your team. People just don't come in and are great. You have to coach them to be great. Sure, they're going to have some characteristics that stick out. They are. But you have to develop them. You have to take those characteristics and you have to maximize them. And the only way you do that is through investing in your team. Every single agency owner that stepped on stage that day said that they worked with a training provider or they had training, like sales trainers actually hired in their agency. So whether you're working with somebody like myself at Weaver Sales Academy to help train and coach and develop your team on a consistent basis, or you're hiring a sales leader to come into your agency and do it internally, it doesn't matter what option you choose, but you have to have one of those. That is a non-negotiable to have a successful business and insurance agency. If you're looking to take your business to the next level in 2025, invest in your team, invest in your people, invest in your business. It will be one of the best, if not the best investment you ever make in your agency career. Quit thinking about it and just do it. Quit overthinking and wondering, man, what's the secret sauce? What's the magic bullet? What are these high performers doing that crush it every single year? I'm telling you right now what they're doing. They're investing in their team. They are developing their team. They are making them the best sales agents, the best sales professionals that they can be. That is how you are going to take your business, no matter where you're at, to the next level. Invest in your people. You get out of your people what you invest in your people. Those are my three biggest takeaways from the conference, and why I wanted to share those three with you is because I believe whether you take one, you take two, or you take all three of these, you're going to take them, you implement them, you take action. They will positively impact your business next year in 2025. So take action on these ideas. Just don't listen to it. Actually take action. That's why we show up and we do what we do on the Buzz. Speaking of that, man, I appreciate you so much. I appreciate your support. I appreciate your feedback. We freaking love you. It doesn't matter if you're listening to us on Apple or Spotify or you're checking us out on YouTube. We appreciate you so much. We appreciate those of you. We appreciate all of you, but those of you that text us every single week around your takeaways or questions you have about a podcast episode, man, we love it and we appreciate you, and we understand that time and attention are by far our most important assets, and we just appreciate you taking time out of your day to listen to the Buzz, and man, we just love you. So go out, take this action, take this information, take action, make it great. Anything we can do for you, let us know, 816-727-7610. Other than that, go out and crush it today.